Hey, so 1-1, my math lab homework is now due tomorrow night. Okay? Anything worked on after that, you will only get 10% deducted on the problems worked on after that deadline. So any problems that you complete before that deadline will be marked up to 100%, and anything after that deadline will be highest you can get as a 90 on that question. Let's look at the end of 1-1. So all the talking yesterday put me into a coughing spell. My gosh, when y'all laugh like I lost it. So we got to here. We're telling this on we got to here, and we're going to finish this, and then we'll take a small brain break, and then we'll do 1-2. We didn't quite finish it. This is where I started struggling. Tonight is open house. I've already emailed y'all's parents, and if you are checking your GNTC email, you should see the exact same email your parents got, because I added all of y'all's GNTC emails, except yours will not let me email you. It literally says, B. Owens blocked this message. And that's the third time it's done that to me. So I don't know, and it's your GNTC email, so I don't know what's going on with that, but we'll figure it out. So, but I will not be at open house because I got permission to stay out of open house so that I can actually talk tomorrow, because an hour and a half of talking to parents is not going to be helpful for tomorrow. As you can see that I'm struggling now. So while I hope your parents come, it won't be because I'm here. So I hate to say that. I never miss. So the fact that when I walked up and asked him to miss, he heard my voice and understood. Okay, so looking at this right here, I'm on the wrong page. There we are. We're looking at the equation of circles. You've seen this before, but it's been a while. This slide, the purpose of this slide is to show you how the equation of a circle came about. You don't have to memorize this. I just wanted you to see the connection between the distance formula applied to a circle. Instead of distance, we say radius. Instead of a second coordinate point, we say HK, because that's the center. I wanted you to see the connection between the two, so that you understand that when I write the equation of the circle in generic form, it's not random. It came from the distance formula. So looking at, and I know we started this yesterday, but we're going to pretend like we have it at all. The center of a circle is the point in the form HK. H is the x coordinate, K is the y coordinate. Why the letters H and K, I don't know. But you do need to commit to memory that H and K are the center of the circle. X and Y is a point on the circle. X and Y is a point on the edge of the circle. So that is a big difference between the center of the circle. Big difference, right? You have a center or you have a point on the circle. I am going to show you using your highlighter where H and K fall in the equation for the radius. So notice that the distance formula is the same format as the length of the radius, we just changed distance to radius, and one of the coordinate points is now HK. Alright, I'm going to copy that exact formula over here, and we're going to manipulate it. Big word. We're going to manipulate it. When I say manipulate it, we're going to follow the standard rules of an equation. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. My first thing is I want to get rid of the square root symbol. I don't like it. So the opposite of square rooting would be squaring. I'm going to square the entire right side, but then I have to also square the left side. And then I'm going to show what I have now that that's gone. I know, yeah. This is when I lost it yesterday. After talking for an hour, it was too much. So today I did go get a medicine ball, and it helped tremendously. But I'm sure after I'm done teaching y'all, I'll be done for the day. Now what I want to do is, I don't like the way this is written. I'm going to just flip the order. I'm going to take r squared and put it as on the right side, and this mess as on the left side. So the mirror image of it. So I'm not manipulating anything. I'm just reversing the way the equation is written. And the reason why is because this is the equation of a circle. Now that's a lot nicer than this, correct? Yes. See the difference? Let's also make sure to say that the center of the circle will be the numbers that are in the position of H and K. There is some small little caveat here. You notice how H and K come after subtraction signs? Yes. Okay, so because of that, that's an asterisk, by the way. It's hard to tell. Because of that, there is a sign change on both of the numbers that come out of the position of H and K. And it's because they're right behind negatives. Now, it only changes one time, so don't domino change, you know. It's only a one-time change.
So, like, if you're using the center and the point to write the equation, you'll change the sign?
Yes. Which takes us to the next slide where you have an example. I've also copied this equation to the next slide. You can see right here. That's the equation of a circle. Might be worth mentioning the center is HK. We're putting the asterisk so that you remember there's a sign change. I walked right by you. Were you? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Alright, so look at example 10. Find an equation of a circle having radius 5 and center 3, -7. When you're reading these directions, it's helpful to underline or take notes on the question so that you know what to do. It says, find an equation of the circle. Well, that would mean I need the formula for equations of a circle. With a radius of 5, take notes. So R is 5. And a center, oh, that's crooked. Hold on. A center, 3, -7. So that's HK, right?
Yes.
no need to copy the formula to a circle because it's right there, right above the problem. Normally I would copy the formula, but it's right there. So when you are writing the equation of a circle with the radius and the center, you need to know that x and y stay x and y. Because if you don't have x and y in there, it's not an equation of a circle. Now it's just a plain old expression with a bunch of numbers. So sometimes people tend to plug things in for x and y when you weren't supposed to. And I'll let you know when we get to one where you do. So we're going to write the equation. Here we go. Parentheses x minus h. If you write minus, then you write the 3. It takes care of it. Or if you look at it and say, oh, it's 3, but Miss Holcombe said there's a sign change, you would write minus 3. You see that? So there's two ways to go about it. Some people write the minus sign, then they write h, then they take care of any sign changes. Some people change the sign in their head. So it's up to you. Keep going. Plus, parentheses, y, minus. Now, if you write k, it'd be negative 7, so it's actually plus 7. You see that? Here's where some people go wrong. It's equal to r squared, not r. So it's 25. And that would be the answer. And if you need to, draw an arrow to the 25, that it's r squared.
Can we leave it as 5 squared?
No, because my math lab wants you, they're going to want you to type 25. Good question. Bless you. Yes. Okay. So if you notice, this is 3, but when I plug it into the equation, it's negative 3. This is negative 7, but when I plug it in, it's positive 7.
And then you said it only changes once, so it would only change there and not change it again after. Like it wouldn't go back to positive 3 or negative 7.
The only way it would go back to positive 3, negative 7 is if I said, what's the center of the circle? You would, from the equation, you would say, oh, it's 3, negative 7. Yeah. So when I say it only changes one time, what I mean by that is going off of the info they give you, there's only one change. Yeah.
You don't look at it in the sign.
I don't, because I already know it changes sign on both of them. For me, it's easier to say x, sign change h, y, sign change k. But some people, I'm going to change colors. I've seen people do this where they write the formula. I'll just leave that as r squared. And I've seen people go in and say, okay, h is 3, negative 7, but then they have to clean it up if it's like this. They have to write it again. Or they have to erase that and change it to a plus sign. But either way is fine. Does that make sense? Let's go to the next question. That one was straightforward. Next one is not straightforward. Oh, I got ahead of myself. The next one's graph it. Graph the circle. And I gave you, did it print good? Yes, okay. Graph the circle. Here's the equation. And then you have a blank graph. Let's take notes. You need 2 things. You need the center and the radius length. So from the equation, we would pull the center. Now, if I wrote the formula up above it, my H would line up here, my K would line up here, and this is R squared. And remember we said there's sign changes on H and K. So the center would be what? Yep. That makes sense. Now to get R, you have to do a little bit of math, and some people mess up here. Remember that the end is R squared, so it helps to write that first. And then to say to yourself, okay, I don't want R squared though. I want R. How do you undo squared? Square root. And we're talking about the length of something, which means our answer should only be positive 4. Now we're going to graph it. You're going to plot your center. And then the easiest way to graph the circle is to do the cardinal directions. 4 up, down, left, right, and then just sketch the circle. So you got 4 up. And then I'm just going to do my best. And y'all are going to say that looks amazing, Miss Holcombe. Oh, hold on.
That's
Not bad.
amazing.
I just did it like wood clogging.
There you go. On my math lab, I think they have you, I think you have to use your, what's it, trackpad or whatever it is. Like you place the center and then you stretch the mouse to just one of the cardinal directions, so you see that radius and it fills in the rest. Okay. Which brings us to the next slide where I was trying to give you some help with a couple of tricky math lab questions. Number 12 and 15 are a little tricky. 12 says, here are the points of the endpoints of the diameter of the circle, find the center. Well, we did one just like that yesterday on the second midpoint slide. It says example 9. We did that just like this one. The reason I copied this one here is because what do you notice in the points? You've got the square root. So remember, this is just a midpoint question, but you do have these square roots here. Look at the blue. It says, first of all, clean your answer up. Use an ordered pair. You will use integers or fractions. They want the exact answer, which means radicals only, no decimals. That's what exact means. So exact means, did you say you screwed that
Yeah,
up?
I did the problem for class.
Decimals? Hit similar question, it'll let you retry it. So when you go to do this, you will notice that, hate to do it for you. Why don't y'all try mine? Mine's on there. Yeah, try mine. The points are, let me go to a bigger screen so you can see. So you've got root 7, is it negative? Root 5 and 5, and you're finding the midpoint. So remember, that's the average. Ashley, can you clean up the first one? No. Leave it like that. College level is wanting to know, are you okay with ugly answers? It's gonna happen, okay? All the days of the pretty answers are gone. So be prepared for ugly answers. Yes, you're right. That will not clean up because those don't match and it's adding. Now you can multiply any radicals together, but the formula says add them, so you can't do anything. What if it was this? That's who looked back. You can clean that up, and it would come down to just root 7. Because this would be root 7 plus root 7, which is 2 root 7, all over 2. That's allowed because they're not under radicals. So root 7 is what you would end up with. And that's where my math lab expects you to go. So that's a what if. But over here, the only thing you could clean up would be that second value. Okay? So you have -1 right there, right? The other question that I put on here was just to tell y'all that oh no, this is type the equation. Okay, so they're saying to you, find the equation of a circle that has the center, so there's H, there's K. It says, and tangent to the y-axis. This is a fancy way of saying, here's a point on the circle. You do have to zoom in. Mine's really hard to tell. On the computer, you will be able to zoom in. But you would zoom in to find out for sure what the point is. And it is pretty. I'm not expecting you to estimate a half. But you would need that point. And since it's on the y-axis, it would, like in my case, I'm marking 5, 0. Not 5, 0, 0, 5. And that would be my x, y, right? Well, how could you get it? Yep. You don't need the x, y. If you go about it the algebraic way, you can use x, y, and hk. Or if you recognize that you can just count the radius, then by all means count it.
Oh, that's if you're going to do this.
Yes, yes. I would count it.
So you don't know.
Not if you're going to count it. You do not. So you get to pick which way you want to go. And your picture, when they tell you what the center is, you may want one of my markers to plot on your screen, like where exactly it is, -6, 5. I think I accidentally marked 7, but it would be helpful.
Radius is 6.
Yes, because if it's -6, then 5, and it's touching the y-axis, then the radius would be 6. For that one. Oh, all the others. Well, that's because this is from my math lab and the others are me copying and pasting a random grid in the background. Yeah, sorry. So that's 1, 1.